Now, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana has expressed their displeasure about the approach being adopted by the Ghana Revenue Authority in enforcing the electronic VAT law. This is coming after managers of Osu Kuala, Maxmart at 37 and Cantonment were the latest to fall in the grips of the Ghana Revenue Authority for tax evasion. Well, this is part of measures by the authority to enforce the electronic VAT law. Other managers who were picked up were managers of Palace Mall and Laboni and Kuala Center at Laboni, all in the Greater Accra region. The following report has more.
What do you want to
This is a continuous exercise sanctioned by the Commissioner of Domestic Tax Revenue to boost compliance on the electronic VAT initiative. The managers of 37 Maxmart, Kuala Osu, Kuala Laboni, Palace Mall at Laboni, Maxmart Cantonment were arrested after some engagements with the officials of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Their offences include failure to issue electronic VAT, duplication of signatures on VAT receipts, among others. There was a bit of hesitation at the Laboni Kuala Center and Palace Mall at Laboni when the managers appeared to affect the arrest. Here is Accra Area Manager of Enforcement at the GRA.
Of course, the cases are many and varied. The infractions are many and varied. So it depends on the manager and the case that we built against that particular shop. Because there are different shops at different branches. So you could even have the same company, but the infraction is different because the infractions are happening at various locations. So that's what is happening. So each case is being looked at separately from the others.
So if that's the case, like you mentioned to us the last time, mention which particular station or center and then their offense.
Yes.
So like 37 Maxmart, their offense, Cantonment.
All right. We are looking at Kuala, the Osu branch, non-issuance of E-VAT invoice. Then with Kuala Cantonment branch, the same offense. And then Maxmart, the same offense. And then Palace Shopping Mall, they were duplicating the signature. Yes. And then the last, which is Maxmart, also the same offense, non-issuance of the E-VAT invoice. Yes.
He has also been explaining the tax laws under which the offences were committed and the appropriate penalties.
We are looking at the sections of our VAT Act and then the Revenue Administration Act. When you look at the VAT Act, the prescribed sanctions are under Section 58 and Section 59. And I can give you the maximum penalty units that can be applied is 1,500. That's the maximum. And each penalty unit is 12 Ghana cedis. And if you look at the imprisonment that can be levied on you, that is not more than 5 years. That is what is applicable under the law. That not more than 5 years. These are the maximum, the streams. Yes.
The managers have been handed over to the Criminal Investigations Department for further investigations and prosecution.
Let's stay a while longer on this development, and we are joined by lead partner tax at Deloitte Ghana, George Ankoma, as well as the Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, Samuel Agri. Let me start off with George Ankoma, first off, who is joined us via phone. George, let's look at the Ghana Revenue Authority's recent approach to ensure that businesses comply with the E-VAT. What do you make of it?
Thank you, and good afternoon to your listeners. So, as you are aware, the Ghana Revenue Authority has a mandate to collect taxes in Ghana, and for that reason, ensure that businesses do register with them and comply with the laws regarding the tax collection. However, I think the tax authorities also need to do a bit more education when it comes to implementation of certain aspects of the tax law. You have just mentioned the E-VAT system that some businesses or companies have been arrested for non-compliance. Non-compliance definitely comes with sanctions. And so the GRA, once they see that you are not complying, would want to impose the sanctions on you. However, I would think that the GRA should go a bit more further to engage these businesses, do more education around the E-VAT system, and even public education around the need for business or for individuals to ensure that when they buy from these shops, they are demanding their VAT invoices. Most of it, people buy and they will not demand their invoices until some of these things occur. But if people are aware of the need to ensure that they get their invoices, so that they can even use them for their own tax obligations, I think that will also help with the compliance requirements.
And for you, Samuel, who has joined us via Zoom, you seem to have serious reservations about the way and manner in which the GRA is enforcing the E-VAT law on some of your members. Is that so? Please unmute for me. Kindly unmute for me, Samuel. Samuel, we can't hear you. If you can unmute for me, I will be glad.
Is that okay now?
Yes, much better. We can hear you now.
Okay. Now, the GRA that has the power to oversee the collection of revenue in this country. Unfortunately, as they came up with this E-VAT, every company that has been enlisted is supposed to synchronize this system with the GRA to ensure that GRA sees exactly what is happening. Now, the question is, if I am synchronized to your system and there's a network breakdown, you are not going to get the necessary information that you need within that period. And also, when the system operator decides to do anything against a particular company, they will do that in order to get what they want. And therefore, GRA will come after you and say that you are doing ABC. Unfortunately, when GRA sets out to arrest these companies for infractions on their system, now you will ask yourself, the system operators that are sitting behind this machine, what are they doing? Immediately you rectify that there's a problem going on with this particular company. You call the company to find out exactly what is going on, or you pay a visit to rectify the situation. Unfortunately, they did not do that, but they go in a Rambo style as if these people are hoarding cocaine in their premises, and therefore they are going to collect that cocaine. Now, if you are collecting taxes, this is not the way you're supposed to go in as an authority to bring these people reputations and the businesses that they own down the drain. Because when you do that, these businesses will go down and people will then say that they are doing something bad. But unfortunately, they are not doing anything wrong or untoward.
For you, what do you think is the best way to go about it?
Recognize. Yeah, what the GRA fails to recognize is that the very moment you think there's an infraction going on in this facility, your men can go out there to find out exactly what is happening. You are not doing that, no call or whatsoever. You just go in and then arrest them for whatever reason they even don't know, than to say that these infractions have been committed and therefore you are under arrest. We don't do that because the system that they are operating itself has so many flaws that has to be looked at. And therefore, if they need to do that, they have to bring these people on board to gradually make sure that they migrate finally onto their platform to make things work. Unfortunately, if you look at the way GRA went about arresting the people and then telling them that they have committed crime and all that, if it comes to tax issues, there are so many companies that owes government millions of Ghana cedis. They negotiate and they pay for. Unless GRA has given issuance of warnings and these people are not feeding to those calls, and therefore you go in with the force that you need to. But unfortunately, what they are doing is not right. They cannot do that, even not because they have the power to do so. They go ahead and then arrest people anyhow. We don't do that in a civilized society.
All right, Samuel, thank you very much. But hold on for me. George, you've heard Samuel raise these concerns. Now, what is the best approach? And they say that the current approach being adopted by the GRA is anti-business and really is not helpful.
Thank you. So I think I perfectly agree with Samuel and the point he raised concerning the GRA, how they approach the taxpayers, even where there are some perceived infractions. I believe that that's in line with what I said earlier, that the engagement with these taxpayers, because if you have identified an issue, you need to go there and find out what is happening. Because my understanding of this E-VAT system, for instance, that the GRA has the back-end view of what is happening. So if your system is down, the GRA is able to see. So they should be able to send an officer to your place to check what is happening and how they can support. Because it's important for the GRA to also see that taxpayers are business partners, and I have always said that you don't kill the hen that lays the golden egg. And so you should ensure that when these taxpayers have issues, you try and work with them to make sure that they come out of it. There is a gradual growing perception that the GRA, for that the government is hunting some of these companies, or I should say multinational companies in Ghana. I think that is not a good perception for us. It does not attract investment. That is not to say that the GRA should not follow up on taxpayers to ensure that they collect the appropriate taxes. But the management of the discussions with the taxpayers, how they deal with them, if there are issues, if there are discrepancies, how you get with them to be able to reconcile and come to a meaningful conclusion.
All right.
I think that's very key to avoid some of these perceptions. We're already seeing some of these perceptions being raised by other multinational companies that have been assessed to taxes for some prior years.
Thank you very much, George. Ankoma is a tax partner at Deloitte. Samuel Agri, I know you are on now. Quickly, I know you've been trying to engage the authority on this matter. How far have you gone with that? Quickly, in a minute.
Yeah, we've tried to send messages around, also to meet the head of that department, Mr. Jamna, to discuss this issue. But we expect that they will be open enough to let everybody see exactly what is going on.
All right.
We don't condone that businesses should use other means to evade taxes. But then they should have a proof that these companies are doing such. But the system that they are running now, I should tell them that it's not foolproof. There are so many anomalies in the system.
Grateful.
Because I paid a visit to one of the companies just to investigate or to find out what exactly is happening.
Samuel, we are grateful. He's the Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana. Speaking to us, there is some.